Hello, you're listening to ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined today by the future monorail captain, Sean.
And no one's allowed to ride up front for reasons.
What? That's the best part.
For reasons.
Don't you want some of our listeners to be joining you up there?
No. Solo trip. Stay away.
Boo.
And that other voice is the Disney advocate, JJ.
Hey, someone has to be an advocate
Are we not
for
all?
somebody, and I might as well be an advocate for the multi-billion-dollar
Well,
corporation.
somebody think of the corporation.
Right. Will someone think of the corporations? That guy is me.
If you have a good title for my co-host here, please send in your ideas to readygeeks@gmail.com. In today's episode, the Geeks dive into the history of a defunct attraction, one that you will see is defunct for a reason, the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. So if you've ever listened to any other podcasts, you'll have probably heard that Apple reviews in general are the lifeblood and the currency of podcasts. They help podcasts get discovered, and we are calling out to our listeners to please help us out and leave a 5-star review for us on Apple Podcasts. And write a little review for us. We love to hear from our listeners, and we're going to have a giveaway for each month. We're going to select one review from that month, and we're going to send you a little token of our appreciation, a ReedyGeeks dad hat.
Yeah, and the good news is we announced this about a week ago as of this record, and there's already 5 reviews. It's really great, and every month we're giving away a new hat.
Yes, very exciting. So please go on to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. We're entering everyone into the sweepstakes, so even if you leave a 4-star, 3-star, maybe you're sick of Sean's voice and you leave a 1-star.
Don't do that.
Anyway.
No. No, I'm officially pandering for 5-star reviews.
No 3-star reviews.
The ReedyGeeks are not 3-star men.
You guys, we can't even comprehend a 1-star.
Or be honest and give us the 1.
We're 5-star geeks.
But we thank you ahead of time.
Wait a minute. I love that idea.
With Disney, there are bad updates. There are unnecessary updates. And then there is the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. For Negative April, we're talking about a Disney attraction that took a classic and somehow turned it into one of the most disliked shows Disney has ever made. Today, we're looking back at how this version of the Tiki Room came to be, why Disney changed it in the first place, and why under new management has such a rough legacy. So I'm going to take us through our historical context, which is, I think, a surprise to nobody. And then JJ is going to tell us all about the version of under new management, what it looked like. And Sean's going to wrap us up with its legacy and its impact.
And a conspiracy.
Ooh.
Keep listening.
Nice.
Oh, I like that. All right. So if we're going to be talking about the Tiki Room, we have to go back to the OG Tiki Room, the original Tiki Room. And that's going to be the Tiki Room in Disneyland. So the idea of Disneyland, let's go back to the beginning of Disneyland.
You just narrate the entire handcrafted...
Yeah. We can't talk about the Enchanted Tiki Room without talking about the original Tiki Room in Disneyland in 1963. So this idea came about when Walt Disney went down to New Orleans and purchased an antique mechanical singing bird. It was kind of a simple singing bird. It used a clockwork mechanism in it. But he gave it to his Imagineers and said, hey, make this better, which is often something Disney would say to his Imagineers, right? Take a look at something and be like, I like this, now do it better.
Was that an automaton where it's like all metal gears that kind of turned?
Yes, yeah, and it worked similar to a clock.
Yeah.
So
if you guys want to just like pause this podcast and go watch like a 3-hour Defunctland video on animatronics, this is the time to do that, right?
I think it's actually, if you count part 1 and 2, it's like 6 hours long.
No, this is part 1. You only have to watch
part
part
one.
1, and then you can come back here.
Okay. Yes. And then you'll know what I'm talking about. The bird that I'm talking
we'll know
about.
exactly what bird. The bird's in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bird is in it. They do talk about.
Yeah.
He does talk about that bird. What a great channel.
Yeah. Shout out Kevin Perjurer.
Yeah. So Walt Disney had this idea. Originally, he wanted to make a Polynesian dinner show, and he wanted birds to be a part of it. But for obvious reasons, you can't really have real birds, right? That would make for a terrible dinner experience.
I think your mom might want to do a dinner I think your mom might want to do a dinner around a bunch of birds and eat chicken in front of a bunch of birds.
Yeah. Yes. Apex move there.
For her 80th birthday, she's going to eat birds in front of birds.
So the idea was to have a dinner show where the guests would be serenaded as they ate. This original idea, though, was thought to be very low impact on the park, and they wanted more attractions. And so they got rid of the dinner show idea and just stuck with having a show. And the magic fountain that's in the middle of the Enchanted Tiki Room, that was supposed to be the coffee station of the dinner show.
Huh.
This show, though, was a technical milestone. I mean, this was the first attraction to feature audio animatronics, and it really led the way to other ones like Pirates and Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, all that used audio animatronics. So this kind of paved the way for the future.
Yeah, and a lot of like design choices on like how to make something that is a machine look realistic with like different textures and materials, right? For like, how do you get a wing to move like a real wing? Like, you can't just use fur, right? Because it's feathers. Right. A lot of ingenuity had to be used, right?
Yeah. So I guess this would be a good time to just kind of describe the show in general. So you are in a circular theater, all facing the middle of the theater. So there's seats going all around in the circular theater, and above you is all of these birds, tons and tons of little birds chapping away, going up and up, like this.
This is an audio medium.
This is an audio medium. Oh, right. Okay. Actually, you can.
If you pull this clip and put it on TikTok, you might see this at some point.
Maybe.
But probably not, because he's busy being a teacher or something.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get back into it. I will. So there's birds above you that are serenading you, singing to you, all different songs. And there's 4 main birds that are the lead birds. The show generally lasts for 20 to 25 minutes, and then that's it. You leave. Outside of the theater, there was a Barker bird, and this bird was placed outside to entice guests to come into the theater, but it actually caused such a massive traffic jam because so many people wanted to stop and watch it in amazement of this new technology. So this was something that, when the Tiki Room started, everyone was amazed at. Something I thought in researching this, and we're going to move off of the Disneyland Tiki Room in just a bit, but something I thought was interesting is that this was the first fully air-conditioned building at Disneyland.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty cool. And that has to do because of all the early computers that were running the show and that they were generating immense heat. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, most of the year, Southern California is not hot or cold. So it makes sense that you wouldn't really need air conditioning.
Right. And back in the 60s and in the early days of Disneyland, all of the show's controls were locally housed in the same building as where the ride was.
Oh.
Now it's like in a central area.
Right. There's a cooled room somewhere, an extra cooled room.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's like got its own separate, like think about how like an office might have like a server room.
Yeah. I like to picture NASA,
Yeah.
like Houston. Yep.
Shout out Artemis too.
Okay, so let's fast forward to 1971 when Magic Kingdom is opening. And an opening day attraction is going to be the Enchanted Tiki Room. Oh, nope, it's not. It's not called the Enchanted Tiki Room. It's called the Tropical Serenade. So the Tropical Serenade opens October 1st, 1971 with the rest of Magic Kingdom. And it's housed in a complex known as the Sunshine Pavilion, which also includes the Sunshine Tree Terrace. That's where you would get your citrus swirl. The pavilion was tropical themed alongside with Adventureland. Something that I thought was interesting is that like the differences between Adventureland and Disneyland and Adventureland in Magic Kingdom. Disneyland's Adventureland is more, I feel like, jungle based, while Walt Disney World is more of like a Polynesian relaxed feel, a relaxed vibe, until the monstrosity of Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride comes in. That kind of ruins the whole vibe there.
We're just going to keep bringing that up.
Episode after episode. The theater in Florida was designed to be bigger and more spacious, as were most of the things in Magic Kingdom compared to their Disneyland counterparts. Its pre-show was a bit different. Instead of the outdoor Tiki God Garden found in California, you were waiting in a covered lanai starring two animatronic toucans, Claude and Clyde. The birds entertained guests with stories of finding the Tiki Room and escaping animals from the nearby Jungle Cruise. You know, it's just something a little bit different. Other than the fact of the pre-show and the name of the attraction, it was essentially the same thing that Walt Disney himself had a personal touch with. And the only other attraction in the Magic Kingdom that he had his personal touch with is the Carousel of Progress. So it's a pretty big deal, this show still being around today.
Yeah, even bigger deal that it's back, because it wasn't always the case.
Right. And when it comes back, probably Sean's going to tell us about this, but the name change, right? It's not Tropical Serenade anymore. It's Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room.
Spoiler alert.
Well, now I don't even have to tell them.
So something that the Magic Kingdom version added to was a partnership with the Florida citrus growers. That partnership lasted into 1986. You would exit the attraction, and then there was the Sunshine Tree Terrace there to sell you citrus swirl, is because that was supposed to remind you of the Florida citrus growers. That's what they were selling you there. And again, you could buy that citrus swirl and enjoy the relaxing sounds of Adventureland again until Aladdin came around. They also developed a new character, an original in-park character called the Orange Bird. And you might see the Orange Bird or recognize the Orange Bird from the Epcot festivals. Which festival is he a part of?
The one that's going on right now. The
Flower and Garden? Yeah, Flower and Garden. Yep. Yes, I was going between that or Festival of the Arts, but that's Figment.
Yeah, Figment farts. Yeah.
Figment farts. Yeah, he does. And it smells bad. On the ride, right. So as part of the sponsorship, citrus growers asked Walt Disney to create, the Disney company, to create a promotional mascot, the Orange Bird. And so he was designed to be a very large orange bird with a head and leaves for wings. His wings are leaves of an orange, right? Makes you think of going to Florida and getting some oranges.
That's right.
Yes. So the Tropical Serenade is there for a very long time, but by the 90s, the novelty of seeing these singing birds had kind of worn off for modern audiences. And Imagineers actually started noticing, and operations started noticing that there's this sequence song towards the end of the show, and most guests would start to walk out. And they wouldn't wait for the end of the show. And it just is one of those things that, you know, people would do that all the time in the Norway Pavilion too, right? Like you try to skip through. You're like, okay, I'm done.
Oh,
now.
You'd skip the show at the end. You'd just get off the boat and you'd leave. You wouldn't watch the movie.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't shade the Norway Pavilion.
He just wants to make sure you're listening to his story. I think that's he's just using one of his teacher tricks.
Yeah.
Unnecessary shots fired.
Did you watch that video every time you went on Maelstrom?
I did one time.
Oh, okay.
I did one time.
Yeah, one out of like the 100 times you went on.
I think I would leave even as a child. I don't think we'd watch that show. I think once my parents realized you were allowed to leave, we just left.
They eventually just kept the doors open.
Yeah.
So it's starting to get low attendance. I know that my mom would always force us to go and watch it, but I hated going and watching it, thinking it's the most boring thing. And it's just kind of in the 90s, there's this push to get more popular, more hip, more extreme, more 90s, right?
The Breck Eisner effect.
Yes, the Breck Eisner effect. If Breck Eisner doesn't like it, then it needs to change. And you also have Universal coming in, right? So the 90s also saw Universal Studios forcing Disney to really modernize the portfolio of its rides into like a more of a 21st century guest that has shorter attention spans. These 20 to 25 minute shows were not really going to cut it. So Michael Eisner comes in as CEO, and this is one of the things he wants to do in the Disney decade is improve the parks. Right? Invest more in the parks. But something that Michael wasn't really anticipating was the fallout from Euro Disneyland. Euro Disneyland did not work out. It's now called Disneyland Paris. But at first, it was high cost, large scale investment into a brand new park in France. And it struggled to keep up in the early years. So that affects a lot of the rest of the Disney company, not only in how much money they're going to be putting into different experiences and different attractions, but also like the grandeur and the, how big they're thinking. But there is one thing that Michael wants to get done, and that is getting more intellectual property into the parks. He wants to prioritize weaving successful intellectual property films into all of these rides. And two of the biggest films at the time in the 90s was Aladdin and The Lion King. So Michael Eisner wants to put intellectual properties into a lot of the pre-existing rides and do it on the cheap. There's internal conflict into how to redo the Enchanted Tiki Room or the Tropical Serenade. People realize that it does need to have some work done to it and try to get more of an attendance into the ride. The decision was controversial, even within the Imagineers. Some were pushing for, to have higher attendance, and other traditionalist Imagineers like Tony Baxter argued that mocking the original show's boring nature was a mistake. It would lead to even lower attendance after the initial hype was over.
Some foreshadowing, perhaps.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us right up to the point of when we are going to be changing the Tropical Serenade and changing it into something that is largely disliked by everybody.
Yeah, it is a controversial thing. It is something that certainly reeks of Michael Eisner inserting his will to make everything quote unquote cool. You're kind of ignoring timelessness and classic and kind of throwing away a lot of that, a lot of those ideas all at once, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's just get into what the new reimagined Tiki Room was like. The name they landed on was called the Tiki Room under new management, and much like the Disney World experience, the original one, this also had the lanai with the pre-show in the waiting area, except this one was quicker. There's a waterfall that kind of has a door behind it, and it moves, and it reveals two toucans again, except these toucans are William and Morris. William is played by Don Rickles. Morris is played by Phil Hartman, and they are the agents of the new big stars of the Tiki Room, and they are like full of 90s bluster, like very stereotypical agents bragging about how big their stars are and how many people they've brought in, like gesturing to us, the audience. Then a cast member tells the agents that the guests have to leave and go enter the show. The agents get mad because their stars aren't there yet and can't start without them. But then they very quickly move on and keep bragging about that they themselves have to leave because one of them is about to go. Morris is about to go sign Donald Duck to be his new client, and William is bragging about signing all of the Mighty Ducks. So again, very topical jokes for 1998, right?
And at this time, Phil Hartman, he's a huge name at this time.
Oh yeah, Phil Hartman is huge. So you're talking about Phil Hartman and Don Rickles. Don Rickles, a legend, and Phil Hartman, like one of the best voice actors of the 90s, most prolific of the 90s. Phil Hartman also SNL legend as well.
But it's also like jokes that, I mean, you got to know that in 3 years, 3 to 5 years, it's not funny.
Oh, they're dated, right? Yeah, exactly. Although I will, in their defense, Kenan Thompson, still a big name, still a big get. He's a Mighty Duck.
That's a good point.
But he's a Universal guy, so I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that. So then the cylinder closes as the birds keep arguing as you enter the room, and the show starts the same way the old show would start. A CM comes along who wakes up Jose. He goes, "Oh, my siestas are getting shorter and shorter." JJ, play the clip.
"My siestas are getting shorter and shorter."
And then Jose, Michael, Pierre, and Fritz, the OG hosts of the show, start the show, wake up the birds. They're singing Tiki Room. But then Iago enters from above. He makes fun of the song. Quickly, Zazu enters in typical high-strung worrywart Zazu fashion. He begs them not to change the show and worried what would happen if it was changed. So right away, you're getting this conflict that was in the Imagineering room right in front of you.
That's so funny.
Zazu is the old Imagineers saying, don't change it, because they're worried about what the diehards are going to think. And then you've got Michael and Breck Eisner going, but the show is boring and no one's going anymore.
It's really surreal to see or to hear Disney like commenting on itself, like in its own rides.
Yes, very much like it's making its commentary of like old is bad. And Pierre tries to warn Iago as well that this could upset the Tiki gods. Also, then it very quickly, like I rewatched the show on YouTube, and it's very clunky. The dialogue, it very quickly moves through things as it's a much shorter experience. This is not a 25-minute experience. This is a 15-minute experience, including the pre-show.
Yeah.
You know, the show's really only on for like 8 minutes. You're only really seated for like 10 minutes. In general. So this is a much, much shorter, tighter show. I think some of the dialogue kind of speaks to that as well, because it kind of jumps topics very quickly. The original hosts are asking who these two birds are. They make a joke about how they don't fly to the movies that much. They're attached to the place, but like a joke, like that they work so much, right? Not that, you know, like, so it's like kind of works on both levels.
Sorry, just wanted to say something about this style of humor here. Like,
it's so 90s. It
is so 90s. You know, Cranium Command does it too. In the pre-show,
yes.
the general looks at you.
What do you think this is? Disney World?
JJ, play that clip right here.
This ain't a spectator sport! Where do you think you are, Disney World?
But I feel like it works there when it's only one little moment. It's funny. It's like, that's funny. I am.
Also, that happened 10 years ago. You're telling the same joke 10 years later.
Right,
like,
right.
Cranium Command is, what, 91? This is 98. You're telling the same joke again.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, Iago warns the hosts not to get too attached, because him and Zazu are the new owners, and they need to learn some modern songs. and basically explains his plans by singing a reworded rendition of Friend Like Me from Aladdin. So this is kind of a running theme of the show, is that they're taking songs that you know and changing some of the words to be a little cuter and move the story along, as opposed to just, you're not just like watching a bunch of birds sing a song, they're communicating a story to you. One of the lines is that the tiki birds are ancient history, and he's a big celebrity. Get it? Celebrity. Hold for laughter. Hold for laughter.
If you have a cricket sound, you should.
Yeah, I know, right? So Iago's he's even more hell-bent. He's gonna change the show. He needs a modern audience. The birds better get hip, or their audience would disappear because show business has changed. Zazu again warns him about the tiki gods, but Iago mocks the tiki gods. They sing hot, hot, hot. Iago gets struck by lightning, and the lights go out. And then if you've been to Trader Sam's, you've heard this audio before. You hear oa, 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 coming from the totem poles, and a big green oa appears. Oa, wants to know who defamed the tiki gods. Zazu immediately rats out Iago. Oa then sings a song about what a poor decision it was for Iago to have messed with her. And Oa uses her magic tiki powers to shoot Iago up from his perch. Then there's a big explosion and the parrot's gone. Oa laughs and then disappears back into the fountain with a cloud of smoke. The tiki birds, the original hosts and Zazu, they're like, okay, we need to make things right, and they summon the tiki gods that sing a song. They sing In the Still of the Night by the Five Satins. Then the flowers sing some weird 90s rap song that has original lyrics that were originally in the Tiki Room show. Then the birds start singing along with the plants. And then over the exit door, there's a door opens, and Iago comes out of it. Basically, he's burnt, and he's on a crutch, and he's got bandages on him. And then he said that the Tiki gods were the greatest act he's ever heard, and they were going to make a gold mine on the show. So he was not interested in making more changes because the Tiki gods are great. Zazu told Iago, no worries. And then Zazu goes, where he comes from, no worries is Hakuna Matata. Iago then says, what is hunky tuna tostada? And apparently that's a joke. People laugh or something, I guess.
This is terrible.
Yeah, no, it's clunky. It's a clunky short show. But now Iago and Zazu are friends, and they should party. The birds sing a rendition of Conga, and the birds start going away. Also, I wonder if people back in the day thought that Conga was the worst song in this show, much like people think Conga's the worst song on Guardians, wrongfully, I might add.
I think I think they all just bring a different vibe.
That is true, but I do think One Way or Another is my least favorite.
Yeah,
because I think of, we actually spoke about this, because I think of the Rugrats.
Yeah,
I think of Angelica Pickles singing that song.
Yeah,
it just doesn't land with me. We said this on an episode about a year ago.
Well, we should say it every episode.
We'll start saying it more. After Conga, Zazu sings about how Iago learned his lesson and that he would be more discreet in the future. But then Iago interjects and says that he's not discreet, telling everybody to get on their feet, and then the Tiki Birds sing, get on your feet, and then Iago is directing you to exit. So you get two Gloria Estefan songs for the price of one, and then the joke being that get on your feet to exit. The original birds make a joke about that they're doing magic by making you disappear. The exit doors open. The Tiki Birds continue to sing, get on your feet, and eventually switch to Hi Ho. Zazu bids farewell to the guests, and Iago starts barraging you with insults and comments that will make you leave. So once the majority of guests have left the theater, Iago says he's going to go take a nap at the Hall of Presidents. And then he says goodbye and leaves. Fritz cheers, and Jose comments that no one laid an egg but me. It was oddly quick. I think my description of it was much longer than the ride experience itself. Very disjointed, and I'm kind of intrigued to hear what people thought of it, because I told my mom what we were talking about today, and she was like, oh, I remembered that being kind of funny. But like in a sense of it being like a temporary thing. Like she was like, oh, it was funny to see it like that one time.
Yeah.
But this is open from 98 to 2012 like this, right? Or 2011.
It's 2011. It runs for like 13 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm hesitant to say that your mom has bad taste.
I know, right? I was like, really?
I was gonna say it could have been funny, like you saw it once or twice, and
right,
that's funny, right? But it's you're not going to go back year after year after year. Then you just get annoyed that they're kicking you out like that. It's insulting.
It would have been right. It was something that would have maybe been nice as a temporary change, like I don't know, castle cake.
Yes.
Where it's going to go away at some point.
Yeah.
But this was the full-fledged idea. This was, okay, we got it nailed now, and here it is, this short, disjointed show.
I think the reception was mixed at best, maybe going towards poor. I mean, the jokes really got dated very quickly. And, once it was the 2000s, and you're joking about the Mighty Ducks from the 90s.
Yeah.
I think at first people were interested to see what it was like. It's just that type of humor doesn't have staying power.
Yes, exactly. The jokes, the Hollywood agents being so 90s caricature, a lot of the jokes were kind of time capsule-y. Like the Mighty Ducks are not an evergreen property to joke about.
And I kind of just want to say too that the whole idea that they are they're Hollywood agents, like it's something that doesn't resonate with like just regular Americans, right? Like that's something that I bet you Michael Eisner was laughing his butt off. Right? When he heard those jokes, he thought that was probably the funniest thing he's ever heard. But that's because he is Mr. Hollywood, right? He is like in that environment with all the stars and all the agents and everything like that. But the average person from, Minnesota is not like, finding that, I think, too funny.
Yeah, but I will say that trope of the like hotshot agent exists in a lot of media all throughout time, even well past this. I mean, more adult audience, but Entourage with Ari Gold. Cars has a very boisterous agent in the mix. Yeah, so I do think that there is this like agent stereotype character that does exist well into the 2000s. I mean, maybe from a 2020 aspect, that's far less of a thing because it's almost like there aren't super agents anymore. There are just like these mega conglomerates of these agencies, right? Like agencies that you have behind you where it's like a whole team. You don't have like one agent anymore. You've signed these weird 360 deals where you have like, oh, I have like 5 agents and a manager and a this, and I make my own production company. And it's not quite the same kind of thing where it's like, oh no, my agent is my guy that makes me move, right? That my next movie and whatever. Like I think it's just a very different industry in 2026. compared to 2006.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a good point. Yeah, either way, it just didn't resonate. People didn't really care for it. The jokes were a little too,
Mean?
insulting. Yeah, mean.
I can imagine that because it just feels so jagged. It's the contemporary problem, right? For this to exist now, they'd have to update it like every 3 or 4 years. They'd have to update the dialogue.
Right.
How? That's proprietary.
Unfortunately, Sean had to leave. There's some connectivity issues.
Some technical difficulties.
But the show must go on. Audiences stop taking to it very quickly. A lot of the Imagineers that were worried about the timelessness of the show were correct to be concerned about it. It's something that is not popular and becomes increasingly less so. And in 2011, there is a fire. In January of 2011, there's a fire that damages the ceilings, including several animatronics. One of the animatronics in the ceiling, of course, is Iago's character. So the main star of the show is burned, which basically means that this is a permanent closure.
Right. You're not going to put resources into fixing this ride that wasn't even, or this attraction that wasn't even popular. Yeah.
But by August of the same year, the attraction was fully restored and reopened as Enchanted Tiki Room, which as the same program that it was before it was reimagined in 98.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sean alluded to this in the beginning of the episode, and I never really thought of it because I never really researched the fire or whatever. And maybe this is part of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, right? They're allowed to be a little secretive. The cause of the fire and the extent of the damage was never publicly shared, which has sparked, get it?
Yeah.
Fan theories ablaze
Yeah.
that perhaps there was some foul play, like chicken fouls, and that this was
these jokes. These jokes are as bad as
these are not
management.
my jokes. These are Sean's jokes. This is Sean. Blame Sean, not me. Not me. This is not me. These are Sean's words. Sean's words that he wanted to say so desperately. Basically, people are suspecting that this is some sort of ploy by someone on the team to resurrect a Tiki Room attraction. I would suggest that if it was a ploy, that maybe the fire was fake and they just needed a reason to close it and change it back.
Oh, so that there was no fire.
Or the fire was nothing and they were just like, let's just close it. Because I feel like in my wife's hometown, there is a diner that caught on fire and it was closed for almost 2 years.
Really?
And then reopened as the same diner. So I can't imagine that in a fire in the middle of the Magic Kingdom wouldn't cause some more issues that they would just be closed for 6 months and open with an all new show.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like it feels such a tight turnaround, and I don't know if I just have like I'm fully like Tron pilled, where it's like, oh, a new ride is going to take like 4 years minimum.
Yeah, but it's not a full new ride. It's they're redoing what they had, and a lot of the bones were still there.
I guess in a lot of ways, all they're doing is rebooting an old tape in the same way that they kind of can change Soarin' back to Soarin' over California just by like, okay, we just got to, plug in a different hard drive and run a different program, right?
Right.
So like, but the Tiki Room, maybe it's the same thing where they just got to load up the old sequence and hit play.
Yeah. Well, the fire was small. The fire was, they say, contained in the attic, and the sprinklers put it out. pretty quickly.
So is the foul play just someone lit Iago on fire?
Maybe. I wonder if
Tony Baxter lit Iago on fire.
he watched it one last time and he's like, this sucks. I'm
gonna burn this place to the ground, starting with you.
Calm down, Rover. I was only kidding.
Yeah, I wonder if all the other birds are fine, they just have to take out the two, the two new birds and probably switch over where the show is being housed, right? Like I had mentioned, it was being run locally in the same building. But, if the control center is already set up in a central location, maybe it's not that hard to just connect it.
Or they were rebuilding the new command center the whole time.
Well, I imagine it's for multiple rides. It's like all the rides of Magic Kingdom.
Oh, right. Like there is a central hub that has like these servers.
I don't know. We are speculating. Maybe this would be a question for Jim Hill.
Yeah, I feel like this is such a good Jim Hill question. It's like, how are they able to swap this out?
Right.
It's interesting. But maybe everything's as they digitize things, they're also digitizing the original show. So like it is just flipping a switch to be able to redo the old show.
And it did exist still in Disneyland.
Oh, right. It exists in Disneyland. It's so easy to just be like, here's a copy of the master file.
Yeah, they probably emailed it over.
You think it fits in an email? You think that's the size?
You have to pay for Google One. and then it fits in there.
Okay, now, boys, if you just stop carrying on like, we just might dedicate this next song to y'all.
What's interesting is that they were telling a story. So, like, it could have been more engaging. It could have been a fun story about Iago's hubris, right? Like, that's not inherently a bad idea. Like, oh, well, what if we took the bad guy bird, he's taking over the tiki room, and the tiki gods get mad at him and punish him for trying to change the show. The end should have been it circling back to, no, we need to respect the tiki gods and keep doing the old show.
Yes.
Right? Like it should have ended with the old show. It shouldn't have ended with get on your feet and leave the room. It should have ended with, oh yes, now I respect the tiki gods. Let's sing the song that honors them.
Yeah. In the tiki.
Okay, Andrew, you got time for a little game?
Yeah. We haven't done a game in a bit.
Okay. This one is, I think the name of this game is your favorite. It's called You Mad Bruh?
Are you upset, brother?
Art thou upset, brother? So I went around, found some online complaints, and we're just going to discuss if they have a leg to stand on to be upset about this piece of information they found out about.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
First one, Disney Springs was checking to make sure that only resort guests were getting on the buses at Disney Springs.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
People were very upset about that.
People were very upset about that. Do you think that they were warranted? Yeah.
I do not. I think it was temporary. If we still see it happening in like 3 weeks, and I think it's a bit concerning because I do like the idea of being able to resort hop, go to, wherever you want to go. Now, from what I understand is if you were staying anywhere on Disney property, you could go onto any of the buses, right? It's not like they were checking to make sure you were staying at the Grand Floridian in order to go to the Grand Floridian.
Oh,
you
okay.
just needed to have a reservation on Disney property in order to use the buses there.
Okay. So that's a little better than what I thought.
Or a ticket, or a dining reservation. Like, I think that was okay too.
Okay, so that's a lot better than I thought it was. However, it is a slippery slope, and I do love that anyone can hop on the buses.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a red flag. What is that? A beige flag? It's not a green flag either. We should be concerned. We should be cautious about this. But you're right. On certain crazy high volume days, if they're understaffed with the buses and they are overcrowded, I can see running this occasionally. I understand that from a logistical standpoint. But I don't want that to be a normal standard practice,
Right. I mean, hey, listen, there's a lot that they could do with transportation to make it worse, right?
Yep. Okay. Next one. This one I think is particularly hysterical that I found. The new top of the castle is the wrong color blue.
What?
Yeah.
It is? No.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw online that, okay, change the castle back to gray and blue. Oh, nope, that's the wrong color blue. People were mad online about the castle, the top of the castle being the wrong color blue. It's too blue.
Did you just look at WDW News today to get all of these complaints?
No.
No? Okay, just making sure.
No, some of them are from Twitter.
If there was a blog post about this, they must post 2 pictures next to each other, how they're different, right?
I mean, it is a different color blue than than what the castle was in 2018.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're aware of what happens to paint in the Florida sun.
Right.
I think they're future-proofing their paint.
So they're making it, so that kind of makes sense. Like they make it brighter so that it dulls over time, and then it'll look like the 2018 paint made.
But also, who cares? It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does look great. It looks great. I wasn't against the pink. I thought the pink, after a while, I was getting used to it, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of nice. I
never thought it was bad at all. I thought it was like, okay, this is nice, a nice little change for the anniversary. They'll paint it at some point in time again, but it's fine. You still know it's Cinderella's castle. Mm-hmm. It just looked like it was at permanent, like, dusk, when like the sky is all pink and purple and you go, oh, okay. It kind of reflects that color a little bit.
Right. No, yeah, I liked it, but this is better. The grays and the blues.
As soon as I saw the gray go on the castle, I was like, oh, wait, I did miss the castle looking like this. I didn't think I cared until I saw the gray paint go over the pink paint.
Yeah. I liked those pictures where it was like half and half.
Yes.
That would have been a great time to go to Disney and take a picture in front of the castle like that. Like the people that have the 25th anniversary picture, right?
Oh, the cake castle.
The cake castle. Or the people that were there for when the castle was trashed by Stitch. Imagine that was the day you were going to Magic Kingdom for the only time in your life, and it was the day that Stitch had like TP'd the castle. And those are your pictures.
Oh, he's
now.
Just a rascal, though. It's okay.
He is. So yes, they should not be mad at that. Just be happy that it's painted something.
This one is funny because this was a conversation that I saw that got a lot of attention. And there were 2 sides of an argument that a lot of people are saying. And it's about the new CEO, Josh D'Amaro.
Okay.
There is a camp of people who believe that Josh is a great choice and will bring back some of the magic to the parks, in a modern 2026 shareholder approved way. And then there's another side that Josh is a corporate shill and is behind and is fully aligned with the things that the magic is being ruined.
I think there is reason to be skeptical, but there's also reason to be hopeful. And it's like, listen, there's nothing you can do, right? We just got to see how the cards fall. Because it is true. Josh is there during every negative aspect of Disney in the last 6 years.
But man, overall, with the exception of the rides that were imported, all of the new rides that have come with D'Amaro in charge of the parks have been bangers. If you take away Ratatouille and you take away Tron, it's overwhelming. And those were imports. Those are successful imports. Those are like, there's this successful ride in France, let's bring it to our France pavilion. There's this successful ride in Hong Kong Disneyland, let's bring it in to the Magic Kingdom for the 50th anniversary. That was the original idea. Obviously, things change, pandemics happen, whatever. It didn't end up opening for the 50th. So if you take those two out, it's overwhelming how many successful, excellent rides they've opened under DeMauro.
Right. Okay. I mean, he has jumped around a lot, right?
Yes.
So let me go through this right here. So in 2010, he's promoted to Vice President of Adventures by Disney. From 2013 to 2014, he's Vice President of Animal Kingdom. He became Senior Vice President of Resort and Transportation Operations in Florida.
Yep, operations guy.
In 2017, he's promoted to CCO of Walt Disney World Resort. That's Chief Commercial Officer. Before taking a role of President of Disneyland Park in Anaheim. Oh, I didn't know he had that.
Yeah, he was the president of Disneyland for
a role he held for a year and a half before returning to Florida to become president of Walt Disney World. So he was moving quick. The thing is like, how long are you that you're there for a year and a half as Disneyland, president? Are you making any real decisions? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure you are, but
day to day, of course, but like.
You're kind of getting fed an idea, right? You're saying like, this is what we've been working on, and you're just saying that sounds good.
Yeah.
But I guess he does have the power to say that sounds bad.
Right.
Or like, can we do this better? Can we do it's still ultimately his call. The fact that he moves so quick, like you can kind of tell that they must have had him earmarked for this.
Well, he definitely looks the part of a CEO.
Yes, absolutely.
He's got the
they must have had him earmarked as this, because like you don't get huge promotions every 2 years like clockwork.
Yeah.
If they don't have huge plans for you, especially in a company like this.
And does that give more credence to him being a corporate shrill? Right?
Possibly.
That could be, why they wanted to promote him. He was telling them exactly what they wanted
what they want to hear. Yeah, that is certainly possible. But there still is a reason to be optimistic about it, because
I think so.
He comes from the parks, so he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. He understands how important the parks are to everything else, and they're more successful as a parks and experiences company, if you bundle the cruises and the parks together, right? Like, experiences is their moneymaker right now. For a while, it was the movies, and then ESPN and the parks kind of emerged as, no, the real profits in live sports and theme parks. And now live sports is having a little bit of a downturn, but the theme parks has kind of been the only thing that's remained steady.
Yeah, theme parks are really the only place they're consistently making money quarter after quarter.
Okay, let's do one more before we send everybody on their way. I think we've been talking long enough. The rides are not well maintained anymore.
Are you mad, bro?
You mad, bro?
So... I can see an argument for some of the lightning lanes attractions. Some of the attractions that have individual lightning lanes, they can't, shut them down long enough in order to do complete fixes. So I'm thinking of like Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance cannons, right? There's a lot of B mode and even C mode happening on Rise of the Resistance to make sure that it's at least running every day, right?
Right. But it's a great ride still. And, especially if you've never seen it in A mode, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still an amazing ride. I think all the other rides are pretty reliable. I don't know, like there's not. I don't think that there's a significant amount of downtime now compared to 5 years ago Or like what are we comparing to? The early 2000s?
I think this is just people being way too online and way too nitpicky. They're seeing something on Tiana that's kind of quasi malfunctioning, and they're like, nope, this would have never happened on this ride, back in the day. Yes, you see a video clip of that, but you don't know that, okay, they close the ride and they fix it 10 minutes later, and it's just because everyone has a camera now, you're able to see every time there's a malfunction.
Yeah. People like the touring plans are tracking downtime, right? And so they could probably give us an answer of whether or not downtime across Walt Disney World has gone up in the last couple of years, and maybe it has. But is that a reason to not plan your trip because they don't and that they don't care about it anymore? No, it's tough to shut down these rides for extended period of time in order to do maintenance. I mean, when we get Big Thunder Mountain, I mean, that's going to be great. That's going to be in the best shape that it's ever been in. And
yes,
I'm excited for that, but that took a year.
That was a very long refurb. I'm shocked that it's as long as it was. But I do think they made a significant change to it because they announced that the height requirements actually been lowered.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder what's different that they did that.
It could be the lap bar is different now.
The restraint, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's not the bench that you slide around in anymore. Maybe it's there's a little bumper so maybe you don't slide around anymore. It could be a lot of things. You could lower the seat and lower the center of gravity so that a smaller rider would be more centered and experience less forces. They could have reprofiled, because if it got all new track, they could have make it a slightly more gentle ride, G-force wise.
I was thinking that if the points where you go back and forth and it really jostles you, maybe they got rid of that.
Yeah, right.
It'll be interesting to try. I'm excited to see if there's any new elements, like visual elements in the ride itself.
I love Big Thunder. That's always been my favorite of these young family coasters.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right.
Sean, want to take us out?
Thanks for listening to another episode of the ReedyGeeks podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Any questions, comments, concerns, future topic ideas, email us at ReedyGeeks@gmail.com. Check us out on our socials at ReedyGeeks, and we'll see you next time.
Could that have worked?
I mean, I always have a take of... I do have one of Sean's on file.
Oh, great. Okay. What am I doing?
This week's Honest Send-Off comes courtesy of the Geeks. If you have an honest send-off that you want played at the end of one of our episodes, please submit an audio clip to us via our email address, ReedyGeeks@gmail.com. ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast, is hosted and executive produced by Andrew Shopey, Sean Murphy, and JJ Hefner. Music and audio engineering by JJ Hefner.
Bon voyage!